Commander Zefix's four eyes blinked in rapid succession as he stared at the holographic display. The data streams from the survey drones painted a picture so horrifying that his species' natural flight response kicked in, flooding his system with stress hormones. "Impossible," he whispered through his breathing apparatus, the words barely audible over the hum of the galactic surveyor's engines. No sentient life could survive in such conditions. The planet designated as Sol 3 rotated, slowly before him, a blue-green marble that seemed deceptively peaceful from orbit. But the readings told a different story entirely. His science officer, Lieutenant Krax, approached with trembling tentacles. "Sir, we've confirmed the atmospheric readings 3 times. The planet's atmosphere contains 21% oxygen, a highly volatile, corrosive gas. The atmospheric pressure at sea level is crushing. And the gravity—" Krax's voice trailed off. "The gravity is what?" Zefix demanded. "Nearly 10 times what we consider survivable, sir. Any prolonged exposure would crush the exoskeletons of most known species." Zefix turned his attention back to the planet. The survey had been routine. Catalog worlds in this backwater system. Note any resources worth extracting. Move on. But this world defied every principle of habitability the Galactic Confederation had established. "Sir," called out Communications Officer Blitz, his crystalline form flickering with nervous energy, "we're detecting structures on the surface, geometric patterns that suggest construction." "Impossible, run the scans again." "I've run them 17 times, sir. There are definitely artificial structures, large ones. And sir, we're detecting movement." The bridge fell silent except for the mechanical whirring of life support systems. Movement meant life. Life on a world that should have been a barren wasteland of toxic gases and crushing forces. "Take us into lower orbit," Zefix commanded. "Full active scans, I need to see what we're dealing with." As the ship descended through the planet's outer atmosphere, the readings became even more disturbing. The planet was teeming with life, not just surviving, but thriving. Massive cities sprawled across continents, connected by networks of transportation that moved at speeds that would be fatal to most species. "Sir," Krax's voice was barely a whisper, "I'm detecting electromagnetic signatures, radio waves. They're broadcasting." "Put it on speakers." The bridge filled with sounds unlike anything they'd ever heard. Rhythmic vibrations, tonal patterns, what could only be described as music. And underneath it, voices. Actual vocal communications in what appeared to be dozens of different languages. "By the void," Blitz breathed. "They're not just alive. They're happy?" Through the ship's enhanced visual arrays, they watched the surface with growing amazement. The beings, bipedal, remarkably fragile-looking creatures, moved about their daily lives completely unprotected. No environmental suits, no breathing apparatus, no gravity compensation devices. They walked freely in their toxic atmosphere, under their crushing gravity, completely exposed to their star's radiation. And they were smiling. "Look at this," Krax called out, highlighting a section of the visual feed. "They're engaging in recreational activities. In these conditions, they're playing?" The crew watched in stunned silence as groups of humans kicked a spherical object across vast green spaces, dove into bodies of their corrosive water for pleasure, and scaled massive rock formations with nothing but primitive equipment and their own muscular strength. "Sir?" The communications officer interrupted. "We're being hailed." "What? That's impossible. How could they have detected us?" "Unknown, sir, but the signal is definitely directed at us. Should I respond?" Zefix's mind raced. First contact. Protocols were clear. But this situation was unprecedented. These beings lived in conditions that would kill him in minutes. Yet they had somehow detected his ship and were attempting communication. "Put them through." A face appeared on the main screen. Bipedal, bilateral symmetry with remarkably expressive features. When it spoke, the universal translator worked overtime to process the alien phonetics. "Greetings," the human said, its facial muscles arranged in what the computer identified as a smile. "Welcome to Earth. I'm Captain Sarah Chen of the United. Earth Space Command. We've been monitoring your approach. Would you like to come down for a visit? The bridge crew exchanged glances of pure terror. Come down? To that death world? Zephyx stammered. Your planet appears to be extremely hostile to most forms of life. The conditions are... The human smile widened. Oh, you mean the oxygen and gravity? Yeah, we get that a lot, don't worry. Most species find it pretty intense at first. We've got environmental suits and controlled habitats ready if you'd like to meet in person. We're always excited to meet new neighbors. You have encountered other species before? Oh, sure, Captain Chen replied casually. The Zentorians stopped by last month. Nice folks, though they nearly fainted when they saw our oceans. Something about the water pressure. And the Vegan delegation from Alpha Centauri was fascinated by our mountains. They couldn't believe we climbed them for fun. For fun. Zephyx felt his exoskeleton shudder. We've actually been thinking about joining the Galactic Confederation, Chen continued. We've been listening to your broadcasts for decades, trying to figure out the best way to make contact. Your survey mission seemed like a perfect opportunity. You've been listening to our communications? Well, yeah. Once we figured out faster-than-light travel, intercepting galactic communications was pretty straightforward. We've been preparing for this day for quite a while. The humans had not only survived in conditions that would kill most galactic citizens, they had developed space travel. They had been monitoring galactic communications. They had been preparing for contact while the rest of the galaxy remained, completely unaware of their existence. Captain Chen, Zephyx said slowly, your planet is classified in our databases as uninhabitable. The atmospheric composition alone... Right, the oxygen thing. We actually love that stuff. Can't live without... So the human paused, tilting her head. What do you folks breathe? We might have some on hand. We're pretty good at atmospheric engineering. They were offering to accommodate him. These beings who lived in a toxic hellscape were offering to modify their environment to make him comfortable. Sir, Krax whispered, urgently. The implications, if humans can survive in these conditions, what else can they do? What are they capable of? Zephyx looked back at the screen where Captain Chen waited patiently, that enigmatic smile never leaving her face. Her planet spun below them, a world of crushing gravity, corrosive atmosphere, and radiation that would sterilize most known life forms. A world the Galactic Confederation had written off as uninhabitable. Yet here she was, representing a species that not only survived, but thrived in conditions that would make a nightmare seem pleasant. A species that had achieved spaceflight independently, had been monitoring galactic communications, and was now calmly offering to host visitors from the stars. Captain Chen, Zephyx said finally, we would be honored to accept your invitation. As the galactic surveyor began its descent toward the surface of Earth, Zephyx couldn't shake the feeling that this first contact would change everything. These humans, these impossible, wonderful, terrifying humans, were about to introduce themselves to a galaxy that had no idea what was coming. And they were smiling as they did it.